Hi, I'm Graham from Sungrow, and today I'm going to introduce you to our new RT Series 3-phase hybrid inverter. The new hybrid inverter has a built-in DC isolator, it has a full backup which can take full load, and it's compatible with high voltage batteries. And I'm now going to show you how easy it is to install and commission. The first thing you'll notice about the AC plugs, they are fundamentally the same, but they are color coded for the grid terminal and the backup terminal. And I'm going to use this spare plug to show you how to connect it up. It comes complete with 4mm and 6mm bootlace terminals, but I'm using a piece of 2.5mm cable for demonstration purposes only. To connect the plug, you simply remove the internal side, take the gland nut off. The actual gland itself has got multiple sizes, so you can use it for just cable, or if you're using corrugated conduit, it's a one size fits all. And that fits neatly in here, like so. So, terminating the cable, simply strip back about 45mm of the outside insulation, strip the cable, connect your bootlace connector like that, nice and firm. Use the correct crimping tool, secure like that, done. Pass the cable through the gland, and the plug itself is marked PE for earth, neutral, L1, L2, L3, and it's just a simple case of connecting these up. So we've got PE, neutral, L1, L2, L3. You just put them in the plug. Plenty of room in the plugs. Like that. Make sure it's nice and secure. So once you've made all the end connections up, terminated them all, simply put them into the correct terminal. Make sure your phasing is correct and tighten up. There is plenty of room in these connectors for even large cables. The phasing will need to be correct if you have any three-phase, especially if you've any three-phase motors like air conditioning. Once you've done that, it's just a matter of clicking it back into place, and that's it done. Now, the meter that's supplied with the RT series will either be a T65 or a DTSU 666. They're both pretty much the same thing. They have the live and neutral connection and an RS485 connection. On the meter here we see it's marked RS485 A and B, and you get a little screwdriver to do it. And on the inverter end there is a little plan on the inverter that shows you how to connect the data cables. On the data cable itself, please pay attention to the markings. One's marked meter A and B, and the other is marked inverter A and B. The reason for that is that these little terminals are longer than these ones for a reason. So you basically connect the A and the B to the meter, here and here, and on the multi-plug you simply take out the green plug. Once again, the gland, there's plenty of entries in the gland there. Pass the cable through the gland, and you simply connect into the multi-plug as per the manual or the plan on the side of the inverter. So you just plug these in. These are spring terminals, you don't need a screwdriver, and you just plug it in like that. That's it done. And once you're done, click that into place, tighten up the gland, and that's it done. Don't forget to connect the external earth terminal. The new RT series has a built-in DC isolator, fully compliant with all Australian and international standards. It also has a COM definition label on the side here. This is for the data connections for the meter and the battery. Now that we've made up all the AC and DC cables into the plugs, I'm now simply going to plug everything in. So we're going to plug the DC supply from the PV panels on the roof in, like so. We're not going to do the battery connections today. We're going to do a different video for the battery next time. So I've plugged in the PV connections. We have a dongle, which I'm going to plug in here. And because I'm not using the Ethernet, there's an Ethernet port just here. Because I'm not using that, there's a little cover that goes over the top there, and that keeps the IP rating. And we plug in the Wi-Fi dongle here, like that. The communication, which is the RS485 from the meter and the battery cable, it just plugs in like that. We plug in the grid and the backup circuit there, and we connect the earth on the side there. That's all connected up. Now all we need to do is switch it on and commission. Now in a hybrid system, the meter is vital for battery charging, so you must connect the meter properly, and I'm going to show you how to connect the meter. Now I've killed the subboard so it's not live for the purpose of this. The meters we supply, this one is a DTSU666 and it has inbuilt CTs. The golden rule with a meter always is grid on one side and everything else on the other side. So we have the grid connection, we have the main switch going into the meter here and then out to all the loads including the inverter. We have our RS485 cable, which is connected to the RS485 terminals. On the DTSU666, that's terminal 24 and 25, A and B respectively. And once you've connected that up, just close these over like that, and we'll put the cover back on, and that's the meter done. Now once you've put the power on, it's got a nice little LCD display that lights up. You don't actually need to do any settings in the meter, it's preset to work with our inverters. We'll switch on the DC, and switch on the AC. Now it will take a few moments for the inverter to start up, so we'll just wait for a minute. Now when you first switch an RT series on, it'll go into standby mode. That's because we need to set the country code. All the commissioning is done via the iSolarCloud app, and to do that you've got to connect your Wi-Fi on your phone to the Wi-Fi dongle. So I'm going to use my phone and I'm going to go into my Wi-Fi settings, and I'm going to search for the SG network, which is this Wi-Fi dongle here. I scan for the Wi-Fi network and I see the SG network, which is the serial number of the dongle, and I'm going to connect to that. If it asks you for the password, serial number is the password. So I'm now connected via Wi-Fi from my phone to the dongle. I scan for the Wi-Fi network and I see the SG network, which is the serial number of the dongle, and I'm going to connect to that. If it asks you for the password, serial number is the password. So I'm now connected via Wi-Fi from my phone to the dongle. So I open up my iSolarCloud app and I'm going to select local access, which is in the bottom right hand corner, and then WLAN, which is the Wi-Fi. I'm already connected via my phone to the dongle, so now I want to connect the iSolarCloud to the dongle, and that will take a few moments. Okay, and I log in as admin, and please contact Sungrow for the password. So log in. The first screen I get, it says initialize protection parameter. Now I must set the country code here, and it has an option for the country region and it says not configured. So I'm going to select that, and it gives me all the different countries, and for Australia it also has DNSP defaults. So we're in an Ausgrid area, so I'm going to select Australia Ausgrid, like that, and that's successfully selected. I'm now going to select the feed-in limitation, which I enable, and it'll ask me what the feed-in limitation value is, which I've set at 5 kilowatts. It will also ask me if there is another PV system connected on the same switchboard, and it's rated power of original power generation systems. We have another 10 kilowatt inverter here, so I'm going to select that, and I'm going to select 10.0 kilowatts, and I'll confirm that, and that's confirmed. I will now select the backup mode. I'll enable that. That gives us the backup mode in case there's a power failure. So I've set that, that's all switched on. And at the top right hand corner it says turn on device. I'll turn the device on. And what that will do is this will now restart. It will go into standby, then it will go through its startup phase. And once it's done that, you can hear the clunk there. It will go through the startup phase for 1 minute and then it will connect to the grid. Looking at my app here, I can see that there's 97 watts coming in from the grid at the moment. It will be about a minute before we see power coming from the PV, but once it starts, that will ramp up. And once it starts up, it's gone through startup, this blue LED will go on steady blue. That way you know it's working. I will now demonstrate to you the backup functionality. The changeover is 20 milliseconds or less, which is true UPS. We have this monitor plugged into the backup power supply, and I'm going to put the mains power off. As you can see, there wasn't even a blink